Okay, so here is a blast from the past. What gave it away is the AOL optimized badge that they put on this computer. And this computer heralds from the time when these no-name knockoff computer manufacturers that just stuck any old name on them were quite prevalent during the Windows XP era. Not so much now. Haven't seen any computers or CPUs or anything like this nowadays with as much prevalence as back then, but nevertheless, it's a working computer. It just needs a few things to get it working. It does have a CD drive, but somebody removed the screws, and it does work, but it just slipped back here, so I need to get some screws and some rails to seal this properly. And there's also a plastic spacer here so I can put a second drive, or perhaps even a floppy drive if I so desire. Well, then again, that would be moot, installing a second floppy drive, because this one has one right down here. You can see the AOL optimized sticker, and it has two USB ports and a microphone and headphone jack. This computer needs a quick cleaning, but it's aside from being dusty, there's really nothing wrong with it. Got the power button, a green LED indicator for I'm guessing either hard drive or power. They don't kind of distinguish what they both do, and then what appears to be a reset button of some kind. It says an Intel Celeron processor designed for Windows XP and even Windows Millennium. And it's just SysteMax, which is again like one of those no-name manufacturers. And over on this side, the fan seems to be quite dusty. Looks like that's going to need a cleaning. And then over on this side, again, a bit dusty, but nothing too serious. We have the three-prong power jack, the fuse, the PSU fan, and then this one does have a switch to turn that power supply unit on and off. PS2 keyboard and mouse, a serial port, a VGA jack, a parallel printer port. 4 USB jacks. They are USB 2.0. And a 10100 network interface card, and this did have provisions for having a 1394 FireWire port, but it doesn't look like this computer came with that option. And then it does have a microphone, headphone or line output, and a line input jack. And it's got 2 of these. Again, you can see how dusty it is. It's got 3 of these covers for these expansion bays, and only one of them is being used for the dial-up card. And you may have already noticed that this computer has no identification on it aside from the SysteMax name, and then what appears to be a model number above the serial number, SYX-651M03. Now, as found, this computer is missing its screws here that hold on to this cover, but it's pretty stuck and rigid, so no need of worrying about this coming loose. Let's see if I can open this up with... Nope. Gonna have to stop the camera. I need 2 hands. Okay, let's see what's in here. Oh, it seems that this has a little induction plastic piece here, so that the fan circulates air and it doesn't dissipate. So I'll put that to the side. Okay, we have an ISO or ISO switching power supply. It's rated at 18 amps. And let's see, 250 watts output power rating. A You Lucky So Cool brushless fan on the CPU heatsink. You Lucky So Cool. That's it. That's hilarious. And it has an IDE or ATA, parallel ATA CD drive. The floppy drive is located in there as well. And then provisions for, I guess, adding more hard drives. And the hard drive would sit most likely probably right over here. There would be rails, but they've been removed by the previous owner. And here are the power connections from the PSU. And they took the IDE hard drive cable as well. And that's where the hard drive would connect into, that white connector right there, I do believe. They did leave the RAM connected, fortunately. It's probably got only 512 megabytes or 256 megabytes of RAM. And the only name brand component I see in here, aside from a Foxconn motherboard, is a Connexent dial-up 56K modem. There's some screws down here from the previous owner again. They just left screws everywhere, so they were fiddling around in there, but okay, there we go. We got some more information here. This is a Celeron 2.4 gigahertz system. It uses a mini ATX chassis with a 250 watt power supply, XP Home Edition, Intel Celeron, 256 gigabytes of, what does that say, non-ECC memory, DDR3, 40 gigabyte RD, 7200 RPM hard drive, and PCI modem, a keyboard blank, some other stuff. This thing's filthy. It's actually got to get a good cleaning, but so this needs to get a new IDE hard drive, a new IDE hard drive cable, but we should be ready to go because I did try powering up this computer and it did work fully. It did power up, but I tried running a boot CD off of the CD drive, but it didn't seem to want to run properly, and I'm guessing that's because the hard drive was missing from this, although I can't be sure. I really don't know. Let's see. This does seem to have, yeah, that's probably a 256 DDR3 RAM. That's going to have to get upgraded to about a gigabyte. I want to see if I can get 2 gigabytes in here. I know some of these computers, these no-name computers, have problems with the motherboard and the components. They don't want to work properly. So I'll have to look into that. So if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to need one of these 40-pin hard drive ribbon cables for an ATA hard drive. It's only $3.05. And then we've got a choice of a Western Digital or a Seagate hard drive for $11.97 or $11.99, but for 2 cents more, you get 80 more gigabytes with the Seagate drive than you do with the Western Digital. So I think I'll get the Seagate. Or I can get a Western Digital Caviar IDE desktop hard drive, once again 7200 RPM for $11.99, tested and wiped. So it has been used, but it does work fully, and it's got the connection here for the cable. So thank you for watching, and do stay tuned.